of the Mountain King and the Paladin, the undead player Eric has actually opted for the Drow Ranger, and that's a pretty interesting choice. You know, in other matches, I see the Pan being more effective. Obviously, taking out all those gyrocopters are nice, and the AE splash damage of the fire, or even going like a Pit Lord or something crazy like that from a tavern is really nice. But you know, he doesn't have, the human army at this point doesn't have a lot of casters, so the only point to the Dark Ranger isn't to like take out slow or stop the priest from healing or anything like that. It's specifically to say, I'm going to focus fire on this individual unit, and while you're silenced, you're not going to be able to heal that, and you're not going to be able to bolt me for that purposes. And also can be used defensively. If he wants to back off, he doesn't have to worry about the bolt coming off, you know, and stopping his town portal or something like that. So pretty very interesting there. Actually, it's not going to be stopping his town portal. I mean, that's an instant cast invulnerability, so blah, blah, blah. Still a little bit of good move there. So again, making more fiends from that thing. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, so I'll let you guys know when I get there and what time to get to, and then we'll sync up again. I want to see this replay real quick because this is a pretty long game. We're only halfway through it at the moment, so I'm going to speed up the replay. Whatever you're watching now, it's okay. I'll let you know when I get to the point I want to get to. So, all right, we'll stop here at 18:10. So get to the 18-minute and 10-second mark. Pause the replay, and I'll get it unpaused here in the next few seconds. My apologies if you somehow sped past the 18:10 minute. I was doing it at 8x speed, so I don't think anyone else could get there that fast. But 18 minutes, 10 seconds, 1x speed. If you're not there, sorry, pause the audio portion of this and sync up the replay again to 18:10. We're going to see a little bit of a creep jack happening again by this human player. Sorry, I keep calling him the human player, by HolyHuman to do this. So I'm going to unpause it now. Whoops, my glass has fallen off. In 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. So on pause 1x speed here. This fight happening at a pretty big creep camp here for the undead player. Holding alt, you can actually see that Lich went down very, very quick to a Stormbolt and a Holy Light. And that's a level 2 Holy Light, level 2 Stormbolt by the Mountain King. So that his Lich is out of it, and that the Knights are right close to his Fiends. Even though he did have the Scroll of the Beast and Scroll of Protection on his Fiends casted there, he was in a very terrible position having those Knights so close to his Fiends like that, right up in the mix there. Generally, you want to have you want to have an A-bomb, your hero, kind of have some front line meat going to allow your Fiends to be completely protected by something. Allow them to freely focus fire on individual units here. So that was a really bad creep jack here for the undead player, having had to use his Scroll of the Beast and his Scroll Protection there, and now it's basically sitting there useless since he had to TP out. So again, lots and lots of Fiends here. The human's answer to this, when he sees all his Fiends, just has to be, I'm making more Knights, and you'll see out of his barracks he is indeed constructing more Knights. More Fiends, more Knights. That's what you generally see there. I wouldn't generally say it's 1 for 1. I think maybe 2 Fiends per 1 Knight might be okay. You just want enough Knights to be able to get in there and start doing your damage there. I mean, keep in mind that your Bolt and your Holy Lights and things like that still work very, very good at picking off individual Fiends here. So here's that Tome of Training switch. You'll notice that the human player has opted to go for Blizzard now instead of the water elementals, and just in time. We do have some destroyers going to be coming out relatively soon. He's making some statues still, but we'll see destroyers relatively soon here. And those Fiends do have the web upgrade, and they are with those 3 armor upgrades, so as are the destroyers that are coming up, which again we're going to see as making those gyrocopters a little bit less effective at taking them out. Even having that splash damage, the upgraded splash damage for those gyrocopters, it's still going to be very, very difficult for them to take out a group of destroyers here. So lots and lots of Knights, and this is exactly what you're seeing. A lot of upgrades going on in this game too. And again, to make a point, is what I was saying earlier in this match, HolyHuman is not making a lot of towers. And the reason being, I mean, honestly, there's no point to it in this matchup, and I don't know if he normally makes a lot of towers. As like a regular human strategy, make a lot of towers, but there's not a lot of destroyers up yet, and normally there would be. So he doesn't fitting his base versus that kind of stuff. So this is very, very big here for HolyHuman. Gets the majority of his flying machines immediately. Although he does expand, he does indeed decide to use his town portal, and that's just to get his Knights right up in there against the Fiends, and that's exactly what you want. And the undead player is like, I don't want those Knights in my Fiends, and backing off. You notice if you hold alt, you can actually see him being those Fiends in the back to get some reaping on there. Whenever he sees a group of trying to stun an individual Fiend, he moves that individual Fiend back, which causes that group of Knights is to basically not doing anything for that short amount of time. So this is really bad here. He's going to try to run away his Fiends, having lost his Death Knight just there for a second. He just Tavern Res'd his Death Knight, and that really was the only choice. He had to Tavern Res that Death Knight so he could get a Scroll of Town Portal and get out of there, or all his Fiends would have died right there, and it was a very, very bad situation. So awesome move there by HolyHuman to Town Portal closer in and kind of position himself reposition himself there at his expansion. So both players have their expansion up and running, and that generally means a longer game, which is indeed what we're seeing right here. So I'm going to go ahead and speed it up again. Sorry guys, I just don't want to sit here and wait around while people are not doing anything, sitting in their base playing very defensively. So I'm going to speed it up, and I'll let you guys know where it is. If you want, you can just pause the replay right now, and when I tell you to get to the point, you can get there real quick. So let's speed it up again. A little bit of a fight going on there. I mean, I'm going to skip past even some of the fights because a lot of it's kind of very, very repetitive. I want to get to one of the destroyer battles. As I'm speeding through this, I notice the undead player is getting a lot of obsidian statues, so he's trying to build up a good amount of destroyers here. But again, they're just kind of sitting around, so at least you didn't have to listen to me jammer on for 10 minutes. Where we're at. Some scouting going on. More creeping, blah, blah, blah. This can get very, very boring. I'm watching it at 6x speed, so we're going to be speeding through a lot of this replay here until I get to another major fight here. Alright, let's just go to the 25-minute mark. So pause at the 25-minute mark. You guys can get there. I'm right at 25 even, 1x speed, 25-minute mark again. If you're not there, pause this audio portion, blah, 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 same old thing, and get the replay file synced up. I'm going to give you guys a minute here, a few seconds actually, to get to the 25-minute mark. Just use 8x speed, just really speed that replay up. If you get a little bit ahead of yourself or a little bit behind, whatever, it's not too big of a deal. You'll still kind of get the general gist of what I'm talking about and get to see the action here. Again, if you think if I'm going over something or I'm missing something because I'm speeding through this replay here, just watch it again if you really feel the need to pick on it. But there's only certain things I really want to focus on, and I think I'm doing a decent job of anyway of focusing on what I'd like to talk about in this audio commentary. So that gives you guys enough time to think up. Hopefully, gonna unpause here in 5 seconds. So countdown now: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. To start off the fight, undead player does a really job, and this is, as an undead player, what you want to do is put your death knight way out in front and focus on take the initial here. And if you're holding off right now, you got all these gyrocopters. Actually, don't even have to hold off. The gyrocopter are going down very, very quickly. You notice he's not focusing by individual gyrocopters. He's rather letting destroyers kind of hit all of them, you know, with their own little attack, and the splash damage is doing a pretty good job of taking them out. Now he's switching his attention, now that the gyrocopters aren't a threat anymore, to using destroyers focused on individual knights. Now, because of those water elementals not being part of the deal anymore, and not having anything for those destroyers to absorb, not having any mana, really, I mean, they do magic damage, but not having that Orb of Destruction really doesn't that great of a counter to these knights. As we'll see here, the human players, although he's losing a few of them, later on he's just really tearing up those fiends, which are basically food for him at this point. Those fiends are really not going to be able to do anything for the undead player at this point. They're not going to be able to easily take out fiends. All that they were really there for was maybe to focus fire individual, footmen out early on. I think he kind